Welcome back to another episode of the Backholder Pod. So I think today it's a special occasion, as you guys can see. Extremely thankful that the whole pod is here to support me and to attend my graduation as well. So, but before that, actually the main topic of today's episode is the recent Tesla earnings result. But before that, we recently just ran a very interesting poll on our community tab. And then we were just basically asking or trying to aggregate some of the sentiments around who are your most favorite members. And Bunti is right leading at the top of the poll, and Eric is, yes. Do you have any thoughts on this?
No comment. No comment.
Eric, come back. Anyway, I think just wanted to go around the table on this before we go into the Tesla earnings, right? Just anyone has any opinion on Kelvin? What you thought of the poll results?
Everyone likes Bunti. So basically, a lot of people are sleeping for him.
Yes.
Actually, Chiking's numbers also not far behind, right? It's quite close. I look at the numbers.
But you're still in front of us. Do you actually have any idea or any opinion on why do you think so many people like you?
You know, maybe it's just my opinion usually is like in between. No strong opinion on either. For example, like those who support China will vote for you. Who support Tesla vote for Eric and Kelvin. So I'm just in between.
Okay, but then speaking on Tesla, right? Or at least the poll, don't worry, it doesn't create any discord. It's just I don't even know who started the poll idea. I think Kevin was the one that started the poll idea. Maybe you can run a reverse poll where we talk about who's the most disliked member out of the four of us.
Please don't run that.
But anyhow, I think I just wanted to segue into the Tesla earnings, right? Because we were talking about Tesla just now. So Tesla just recently reported their Q2 earnings, and then we see that the stock actually reacted quite fervently to the downside. I think it was down around 5-6% last night. And then we basically I just wanted to open the discussion on are there any thoughts on specifically on what Tesla just reported, because operating margin seems to just collapse down, even though a lot of us have already expected it, but the market didn't take it too well. Despite energy, I think the energy segment is increasing phenomenally. Top line revenue is still growing, but I think it's the aggregation or the accretion of the earnings to the bottom line hasn't done too well. So I'll just pass it down over to, I won't start with the biggest bull here, so I'll let Kelvin comment about it first. Kelvin?
I already predicted this in the last video. I said that Tesla will sell on earnings.
But what are your general thoughts on the numbers and how Tesla has been doing? Or maybe Bunti, have you looked at the Tesla earnings?
Actually, my questions to you is, you still got all this time to check Tesla result even you don't invest in Tesla? Because I don't have time to look at it yet.
Generally, I have nothing better to do at times, so I just briefly screen through some of the numbers. I mean, top line numbers. I don't really plot graphs or to build financial models around them. If not, I don't have time. There's 9,000 more companies, but yeah. So you haven't looked at it yet. Eric, have you looked at it yet?
Not really, but I saw the numbers, the top line, bottom line. Basically, I think they slightly beat, which was okay. Operating margins, if I don't remember wrongly, I think it didn't really collapse, right? It was like 18%.
I think there's gross margin.
Gross margins.
Operating margin
okay.
is, I think, under 10 really. I think
Under
it's single
10.
digit really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't really expect that as well. I mean, personally speaking, I thought they will be down a bit, but maybe not so much. But I don't know. I think the most recent development was like OEM actually is looking to license the FSD. So I think that Tesla, I think, ran up quite a lot, a bit too much in my humble opinion. So I think it's time for pullback lah. Of course, I don't know how to time the market, but I think it's quite an opportune time for it to come back down. And like what Adam Khoo loves to say, right? The stock has to breathe, right? Breathe in, breathe out. Then this is the time where it breathes out, it clears out the euphoria in the stock, and then probably we need to come back and see where is the immediate support. I haven't looked at the TA yet, so I need to go and take a look at the chart, and then but I think it's not unexpected. In fact, Kelvin, I think, predicted it. Bunti and myself, I think we said that the earnings will be like just slightly beat, but I think we also didn't forecast that the operating margin will be so bad. Yeah, so that was my takeaway. Not really gonna sell anything. Probably just wait for the new support to be formed.
actually the result isn't as bad as looking at the share price. I mean, share price is off a lot more than the result. I think what shocked the investor is that Elon actually mentioned that he will do further price cut. It's not like he explicitly said that, just that he hinted that more price cut will come. I think this is reasonable given that macro isn't that good, interest rate high. People just those can afford to buy cars, maybe they already bought their Tesla, so maybe there's just lesser people, and at the same time they are churning up their productions, right? So people are going to buy all these cars. They have to lower down the price in order to clear up the inventory. If not,
Car companies to license their FSD, right? Just to cash out. Basically, they have to adopt the FSD from Tesla, otherwise they will just fall behind. So I guess that's another good news for Tesla. So this price drop, I rather it drop a lot more. Drop 50%.
I think more so, right? I'm not too sure. I would believe that a lot of people are expecting the margins to come down, but to what extent and to what rigor we don't know. And if let's say Elon actually hinted that they're gonna continuously drop prices, then that would be probably a concern that, hey, where is this going? Like at the end of the day, even if your revenue is growing like 50, 60, even 100% year on year, but if it doesn't accrue downwards, then earnings doesn't show, people are worried. But I think the more interesting part is, actually Elon also hinted that the car revenue is nonsense. It's nothing. Actually in the earnings. I will quote what he said lah. So I think if you look at the short-term variances in gross margin and profitability, they are really minor relative to the long-term picture. So autonomy will make all these numbers look silly. I'd recommend looking at ARK Invest. I think their analysis is very good. It's the best. And generally, FinTweet or the smart finance people on Twitter, follow their accounts. They're great. So that's, in my opinion, where you'll get the best info. And this is from the Techno King himself. So basically, he's just saying that, like many fellow other Tesla shareholders that are extremely bullish of the stock long term, the accrual doesn't come with the car. The revenue or the earnings doesn't come that way. It's just a Trojan horse. So I think I just wanted to pass the mic around or to solicit opinions. I think ARK Invest and Cathy Woods is not somebody new. I'm not too sure whether you guys have watched our valuation model before, but she do sometimes come up with very interesting perspectives and numbers. I think back then she was saying that Tesla will go to 5,000 or something, if I'm not wrong. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. So 2 questions. Number 1, what y'all think of Cathy Woods? And number 2, in terms of the price targets and how she model out, do you think it's realistic or not realistic? Punti, you want to go first?
I've seen her model when she came out with the price target. That was before the stock split, so the numbers I can't recall exactly, but I've seen the model before. What I recall now is that the assumptions used is really aggressive. I'm not saying that aggressive assumption is wrong, it's just that you cannot be someone who say, okay, things are just status quo and here are the numbers that I come up with. So it's not as simple as that. It's really that she project forward with her own very strong assumptions, looking at the entire car market to be revolutionized by Tesla. So that kind of very, very bright pictures that she's projecting, and from there she's do the discounting and so on.
Actually, I haven't really looked at her model.
Okay.
I only heard about her through the Stephen Mark Ryan's.
Okay.
So I think he himself have a valuation model on his Patreon, which I didn't subscribe to. So I also have no idea what is his model. All I can remember is he actually have assign different probability to the different outcomes. So they basically kind of assume like a certain market value to autonomous vehicles, and they basically model like, oh, maybe Tesla has a 50% chance of getting 30% of this market. So they then assign a value and then discount it backwards towards the current share price. So I think that, I don't know, like the FSD really depends on whether you believe it or not. If you believe it, if you're a believer, then the share price now will be like ultra cheap. It'll be ultra cheap to you. But if you don't really believe it, right, then if you're just looking at the car production, it may seem a little bit overvalued. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the valuation.
Actually, I do believe it. Like eventually it has to dig to somewhere, right? You can't just develop this for another 20, 30, 40 years and still not really see it. Somewhere along the way, they must have released it somewhere. As for Cathy Wood, I believe her thesis is correct. It's just that the execution part is quite bad. If you look, they've just been selling Tesla in the arcade. It doesn't capture the downside and the upside correctly.
just to add on this, I think I recall something on Katie Wood. I think she usually get it right on the big picture. Not just talking about Tesla, because for example she did talk about like semicon and talking about ARM chip versus all the x86. Then the big picture of car industry is that she foresee that EV is going to overtake the ICE vehicle. So I think all these big pictures, right, she got it right. It's just that when it comes to the numbers, if you just focus on the numbers, right, I think she could be off quite a fair bit now. But anyway, she's talking about things that's going to happen in 5, 10, 20 years, right? Who knows, right? I don't think others can just say, oh, this is wrong, because it's just her assumption.
Right. Anything else?
No.
So I think generally, it's true that I think how Eric segues both type of investors, those that believe and don't believe it, you tend to also believe that in the stock price and it's built into the expectations itself. So I think that's also generally, I mean, I won't call myself a bear, but I'm rather neutral. I don't necessarily. Yeah, okay, sure. But I think besides that, I think just a last pointer for those that are current investors, right? Do you encourage them, or do you think that it's a good time to continue accumulating?
Yeah, I think I'm a bad person to ask because I am accumulating cash for property purchase. So I
but
won't.
generally not yourself. Like
Not myself.
If let's say somebody asks, hey, can still buy or not?
Giving financial advice.
No. Normal coffee shop talk.
Normal-
Your friend come here. Hey, Eric, can or not?
My friend.
Yeah.
My friend depends on how close. Like if very very close, then okay.
Okay. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Okay. Kelvin?
I think can buy. Okay, I'm buying chances. Okay, you can very well go down another 50%. I wouldn't be surprised. This is Tesla after. Yeah. And on the other hand, you can go up another 100%. But just buy in chances like.
Buying is fine, but you need to know the reason. So if you find your reason, and it doesn't need to be Tesla, right? It can be other companies, right? If you really find companies that you like the business, you like the management, just go for it. If you can't find any, just go for index, it's fine. But I think that the mistake that many people make is that they look at their friends buy, they follow. Then when the price drop, they ask their friend, so how? So this kind is like not so good. I think you need to really build your own thesis and then just do according to what you think is right. So you need to listen to your inner heart.
And with that's why we know why so many people like Bunti. He's always the logical person that gives the most correct, most PC answer. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. We'll see you in the next video. And of course, don't forget to smash the cute little like button. And yeah, goodbye.